Oh yeah, this is gonna take some work in order to figure him out, so I can get a decent idea. Like so I can get a decent idea about like what he does and what he's bringing to the table. Because I did want to try and main this dude back when he was originally just an art concept when Juno made her release in her debut week. So I'll keep you guys in the know. There is going to be a part 2 that goes over my thoughts on how I feel about the character here. I don't usually do things like this, but it's something new that I did want to go into because a handful of people are taking the time to come back to Overwatch in order to try out the new character. So, same.
Overwatch's first water college graduate is an amazing character. I love the part where he has to babysit his primary fire. If you don't babysit, like if you don't hard lock and focus on his primary fire, then you're not going to get any value at all. So it's really important to make sure that you are focusing on shooting as much as possible. Overall, like watching content creators, watching a lot of the like high level players play him, they seem to like him. They seem to enjoy the fact that he takes a lot of like focus and can be very aggressive, but that is not like my preferred playstyle. So I don't think I'll be playing him, but I do think some of our guys like in our team will probably like him. Like Rod, I think you'll be good with him once you just get used to aiming that primary fire. And it is cool because you can like tag people around corners and stuff. But yeah, his healing is it's designed to be very passive, like much more like Zen than like Mercy. But I do like that he can boost it. But yeah, his damage is super high. He does like 100 per charged orb. So you just want to be shooting as much as possible and not worrying about healing nearly at all.
Hey, welcome back, people. So this is continuing my overall analysis and stuff of Wuyang. This is also continuing the panel that I shared with a couple of my friends and my teammates in order to get an idea of their overall consensus of how they feel or what they think about Wuyang before we get ready to exit Season 17 here going into Season 18 on the end of August, right? So, overall, I'm a fan of this guy. Thus far, through much of the team ladders he's been put through, while I'm still learning him over these past few days into his trial. I think I'll definitely seek to main him over time. I don't know if I'll main him immediately next season, but I'll definitely main him over time. Kiriko's been my main focus amidst Season 16 and the current season, Season 17, to keep applying her. So I don't want the two to conflict just yet. In the initial adjustments with him and his kit, he feels more like a supporter than a healer, which is a decent to good entry point for trying to learn the character's basis points. But that still won't sit well with a large handful, and it leads to incorrect assumptions about the right way to try to apply him when you don't want to overthink his kit right there. I like the smooth transition of my abilities between passive and engaged play. I like how holding his attack input varies his rate of fire, like how it travels after release from the user staff to the target with the enemy just slightly stepping out of the original firing range should you need to. Being able to direct your shots can be really satisfying, particularly out of sight. The slow ascent into rapid descent here feels great, and it did feel great. You can use them whilst highly mobile and correct trajectory while chasing or running. It's like controlling a second character in front of you. Plus, if the shots are hard, you can try slamming the water shots to the ground beneath the target and you kind of splash him to death. I like his wave ride's expressive control alongside the firing line. I thought it was going to be a lot more linear than it looked with movement, but it's really free flow and very controlling, not demanding. You can do a lot with it in the time allotted before we go to cooldown.
Small world.
Personal opinion here, I also like that he's not in any ways focused as an LGBT character, or that's not an angle to his introduction, and I'll tell you why. Overwatch artists and media can just assume, or a lot of the fan ficdom will take it away from there, as they likely will. But that's not anything to do with the character by design. It's the aura around him, and how others see him in their worlds, their view, not the general view. Also, there's no pandering here. It's just selling a character with a brand new original piece of lore for game diversity. There's no background stories being changed or edited to be something it wasn't. The company isn't trying to force an angle of sexuality, security, or insecurities, or a lack thereof, or this I'm just finding myself journey here. When they go on these routes, they lose focus of marketing characters or stories correctly to the audience or focal consumer. FYI, pandering is when someone is including an appeal or indulging to a certain demographic without making any effort to understand the people they're supposedly representing. However, there's a profit angle to it as a result. It's just banking off of wrongfully preying on you, essentially. I'm not against the LGBT-friendly characters that we have on the roster. I love all these characters. I'm against selling them as something they're not, or changing them to be something it's not just to market the audience for a quick scheme. Like Soldier 76 being gay way later on down the line. It's back from Overwatch 1. It was from his time in the war, for example. I didn't like that edit to him, because that wasn't how he carried himself through his war stories. You could argue a counterpoint, since war and the military is a strong gray area of action, morality, feelings, or emotions, and you can pivot away into such an angle for it to work. I, however, stand by what I said and how I feel. Tracer's stories are sellable. She's the poster girl of Overwatch. She set the tone for inclusion at the front door of the game's lifespan, for natural inclusion, not forced inclusion. Venture introduced themselves as a they-thems, naturally sold. That's who they are. And their hero designs complemented that approach in a warm welcome. Lifeweaver's introduction. I think Lifeweaver is a bisexual or gender fluid, whichever way that went, I don't know. But that naturally sold, and his design stuck true to that story. He's a really beautiful character.
A part of the new season.
Marketing took a shit in past cycles reintroducing a character for the inclusion aspect versus simply making original characters to fit that purpose. It's like you want these people mainly to be interested in playing this character, these characters, because there's enough of you on the market playing and engaging where this sells. What about just selling the character as is and let them decide, like they're going to do anyways? Like, sex sells a lot of the time, yes. Sexuality doesn't really sell like that. The weight of either approach is determined literally by first impression.
Oh, real quick. The head of his staff also looks like a turtle head. And I kind of like that feature. It's a nice little detail to it. That's all. I just wanted to sit and point that out because it's a nice little artistic detail that they put on his staff that I kind of like. It's a little turtle head.
Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
I don't like his perk tree. What you're choosing between to upgrade to him, I don't like a lot of this. I don't like that the second perk unlock choices either way of the situation create a mobility add-on at a noticeable cost of his DPS output drop-off for the instances he's solo or can finish off an opponent on his own. Suddenly he can't do this effectively. This hugely affects his base TTK, the time to kill ratio, and that's slightly polarizing in an intense battle or situation. His damage is good on distance, but close up it's mid, or it becomes absolutely horrid over time when his full skill tree is unlocked. It makes him subtly more team dependent as the match evolves, or to have more team synergy. He's more vulnerable by himself. Wuyang's outlining healing statistics, with and without the perks unlock, mirror a mix of Illari and Zenyatta. The water orbs are high damage, but are hard to control, even with that. His water field on an ally has a compatible healing region count tick to Zen's healing orb or Illari's healing pylon stations. Wuyang's perks are just like meh, and they don't really change this much. I'm getting the hang of him, but his cooldowns are still too long in my opinion, and base damage water uncharged is too low. What's bothersome is just the cooldowns are too long for what I see he needs to do in these defensive situations, but needing to be close to up front, not the front lines, but close to up front. That way you're able to keep your healing stream consistent or constant when they get tagged. Tidal Wave's overhealth needs to be buffed from 400 to 500 overhealth at least. Enemies have learned to shoot through it, and it feels awfully useless, especially when ults like Bob or Tree have like 900 to 1000 health. The water dash needs to jump higher or have a double jump. In my opinion, I would probably prefer the double jump. His focused heal beam is genuinely not good versus passive healing with the 40% boost while damaging perk. Really, like if you lose that 40% buff while focusing heals, you're barely making any more value, but you're losing 100% or damn near all of your damage. It's worthless. I'm sorry, but that does need to be buffed or tweaked somewhat. It feels like he's meant to be played from the back or a midpoint at best. His range drop off is about 20 meters in front of him. So he'd be right to probably nurse a tank close to him a lot of the time. His damage is good when the water is charged, thus encouraging more of the long-ranged combat from you before the enemy does, unless it's a dive comp. He's squishy in dive comp. You have to commit to the right initial heals, not just any heals, but the right initial heal that the first water stream goes to in order to balance out the prioritizing of DPSs that are moving the dial or tanks that are holding point. And so in that, this is what I don't like about the kit's cooldown for Wuyang. It's like sudden death meets chess. You're left vulnerable to your cooldowns and a minimum damage at range, which is still going to fall you between 20 to 30 points at damage at a set range in order to attempt to play to your strengths to prioritize the healing aspect before he can secondary the oppressive aspect in order to contribute to the DPS or the push aspect, which he cannot fully do. Then there's the ultimate. I'm trying to figure this out. Like with his ultimate, I'm trying to grasp how you commit to this boost implosion. His ultimate is nice for the teammate who engages into the fight, like the one that is probably going to be the key push or the deciding factor, even if he's about to probably pop his own ult. This ultimate is good for that person. The damage it does with its explosion isn't enough to make an impact, but it's enough that it can be used to save someone. His ult on self, because it's a dual feature. His feature allows his ult, the water Iacon, whatever they call it, to be used on a teammate or it can be used on himself. The ult on himself needs to be a bit faster in my opinion. When you go to put it to somebody else, it comes out at an appropriate speed that I can like and I can agree with in order to help whatever the push is going to be. But for yourself, if you got to do it or if you need to defend yourself, it comes out noticeably slow because there's like a 1 or 2 second catch, it feels like, before you actually get the chance to put it on yourself, despite the overhealth that you get or the overshield. That's not a good compensating factor because you can still get killed out of committing to your ult before you get to use it. Like, think Otta charge or Lucio beat, but a worser version of that. Additionally, its knockdown state on the water's burst release doesn't feel constant. Like it could push further back or house more damage on burst release. Like buffs could be something like buffs for this anyways. I think could be something like a large increase to healing but reduce how much of the resource you have to apply it. You can make it more of a burst heal, but easy to waste however it means. Like Wuyang might be in the back or in back of combat faster, depending upon how that's balanced. Also, let the refill perk overfill the health bar, which I'm surprised this isn't a thing for any of these healing characters in order to have like an overfill heal bar process. When I'm taking into consideration this whole character, there's a lot of points that I feel where the developers were scared to commit to his identity here because of ABC in how the Overwatch community wants a tone down or a tune up to the right thing you think is ideal now, but it's the wrong thing later when you can see the character actually couldn't be left alone, or could have just been left alone is what I mean to say. Or you're listening to random blueberries over accredited players and resourceful people of interest about resources on tuning your game's values or PvP trafficking points. Players, let me play devil's advocate here. Say I was on Blizzard's side trying to take a look at this. I see why Blizzard released Wuyang in this beta state that feels really amazing and bland as shit at the same time. You want to appease all the eyes on him, all the people that may be interested in picking up a new character or coming back here with Marvel kind of breathing down your neck on making a game good. And you, on top of that, you also want to think about the returning ones on his returning worth in the Season 18 competitive landscape. So you don't want to release a strong medic at the front door and not do something stupid soon after where you have to backtrack a balancing effort to bring him down or too far down under par to the rest of the medic cast. So let's look back really quick. I want to think about not the most recent character. The most recent character was Freya. But Freya, I don't think was really touched in any updated or current balance patch that I'm aware of. So I'm going to leave Freya out of this analysis. She's in a decent spot right now, I feel. I want to look back at Juno. Juno was the it girl before Wuyang got here in terms of medic value. My friends and I played a large portion of her trial release before she was added to the game officially. That was back in season 12, 13-ish, I think. I didn't think Juno was underpowered on launch. I didn't think she was underpowered at all. She was just squishy. I thought she was perfect as she was, but everyone called for buffs. And then she became a part of the meta in the next patch note dropped soon after, like literally the next event update. Like they had to backtrack in order to balance Juno out when she was getting too much value alongside the top tiers. Then you got the top tiers, okay? We got our precious top tiers of Overwatch's medical representation. You got Mercy. You got Moira. You got Kiriko. You got Lucio. They all specifically hone in on a variety of movement or on-the-spot decisions that you commit to that provide an ideal pivot or optimal play that shifts the game only the majority are on board with. Or it plays to your strengths, you or your team, when the medic's ult or resources are live. They all, to a degree, can also take care of themselves in a one-on-one-ish setting should they be caught without a host or caught lacking or with a partner, so they aren't polarizing to play. They're not totally polarizing to play. One or two might have a healing cap to them, or a healing ceiling, like a floor of execution to them. But they're not difficult to play, and they're not polarizing. And then I want to take a little look back at Brigette. Brigette was a former top tier medic in Overwatch 1. This was a long time ago. Only the older heads play in Overwatch 2 now. Remember back when she ran half the meta as a medic alongside Mercy.
Rally to me!
She was honestly Reinhardt as a medic, and she was nice. I mean a seriously nice rushdown medic. I hated it, but I loved the concept so much that another medic can offer the push value to comp and can still heal reliably solo and with her team. Plus, her ult was literally a healing field from the beacon on her back that moves with her, so it's not something stationary. When she got nerfed, that was one of the bigger arguments continued about medic balancing and their worth to varying team comps and dive comp. Or with varying teams, or could they start carrying more than some DPS heroes? This was a lot of table that led to the fonter of Reddit and Twitter bullshitters.
Getting the Dragon Ball and the Iacon EP.
She comes at you like Moira comes at the player, but instead of misting away or around you, Brigette just thrusts herself and her shield at you. She checks you if you're caught lacking in the team formation, or is out of it entirely, and oh boy, that was a lot of folks in those days. That was a lot. That's why she got hit with a patch. Like, just DPSs that were just never playing to their team strengths. Like, they hog the area too much when she's around, then you're gonna get hit. I don't know what to tell you. Don't hog the limelight. Like, I'm sorry you're never in a good position or working against your team all the time. Maybe try not to play the lone wolf so much with the objective, and you won't be caught lacking in 4K, blaming your medic for them not healing you, or you didn't get healed, or your team for not saving you on a justified clapping when you're all the way out on site somewhere. Yeah, make the push, but you also need to know when to pull back. Overstay your welcome, and you might as well sit down. You're going to be waiting for a revive. And then there was Illari. Illari was a former top tier very early in this version, Overwatch 2, before we had the landscape change over here. She was one of like the bigger medics over here on Overwatch 2. I didn't play much amidst her debut season, but she was definitely strong. Her healing pylons were durable. They had good reach on their station placements before the reach reduction, and her herself did damage when she ulted. That faced the Sunrise art form. I mean, good ass damage. She did good freaking damage. Her trials to impress the masses possibly annoyed more than it comforted because she was nerfed. Not soon after, but a ways down the road, she got nerfed. And it wasn't just a nerf, like, she was almost neutered to what she is today. Like, she got hit hard. I don't know a lot of Illari's story from that season that she was doing really good in, but I wish I did with regards to medic comp in those days. Like, her rise and fall from grace sounded kind of similar to Brigitte's in the burning out portion, with the lesser pick rates nowadays compared to like a year or two ago. Anyway, I delve into all of this because, like them, all those medic picks I named here, Wuyang, he'll too have a story with him in the coming months that'll shape a lot of his perception with and without the meta adapting around him. Could he house none of these facets that we know of or that we spent here time talking about? He could be a low tier with high execution, or could he have his moment to be top dog and crash like water into where Brigette and Illari are at now in the seasons after and hereafter their reign? Or will he have like a light touch up, be boring as shit for the masses and cherished by his new mains that want to pick him up? Best case scenario, those scenarios I just said, best case scenario honestly is that last one as the really correct choice. Light as that is, but it's a better route to take as a safe shift than the dangerous shift. And that's the fate of a character that, in my opinion, is done right. You can't say shit about a lot of the roster nowadays, can you? I'm not even talking about the medics, but like half these characters could be in such a better position of viability than they are now if the right people were advocating change, or the right people were listening to those changes. We've danced this dance before, years, as long as Overwatch has been around, and dropped the ball on being the leader as a result, appropriately getting exactly what you didn't ask for. I want all for the best for this character, for Wuyang. I want all for the best for him. But I'm just scared that we're not going to get it, or if we do, we're going to get the slice of life now, and then we're going to get the butt end of it later that we're not going to like, but it's the aftertaste we got to live with. I like his mobility. I really love his mobility. It's just that he doesn't have a lot of base survivability. That's core for medics. That's 101, and it's a background issue with Wuyang not seen. Not a lot of people are seeing this immediately, and that's a really big concern for me. I feel if his waves lasted longer, he could at least escape danger at a cost of ability use for a while, or be more defensive than offensive during these pocket spaces. If he does get buffs, I feel they should strongly be defensive-based buffs only. No offensive. Do not touch shit about his offense. Just have it be a defensive-based focal point. A survival buff against dive heroes is like really something that could work here. He's like so fragile in that area, and it's easily exploitable too, is the frightening part. He's really fragile. I just hope that the devs take good care of him and just see where season 18 takes us. I'll be along for the ride in the background, and then however the rest of my team is how I will correspond accordingly. I'll pick him up in time as a medic, like I said, but Kiriko is my number one focal point now. When she's done, then I'll shift my focus back into Waterboy. Back into Waterboy Bobby.
Hey, you go on ahead and weigh in on the conversation yourself. Don't just listen to me and a testimony of one or two of my friends here. You go on ahead and weigh in yourself on what you think about Wuyang. List your comments down below. Any questions, comments, or concerns, like I usually say. Put them down below and weigh in on the discussion of what you think Wuyang's going to be come the end of the month. I'll check you guys when I see you, right? And as always, till all are one.